Disappointment because you're going into the game and back at 3 good performances in the end.
Just frustrating. And probably, the first half is an away performance. We created a couple of problems for ourselves. I felt we were quite offensive and we had as many attempts on goal possibly as they had, but it was probably that slightly cagey affair that you expected it to be. But as an away side and quite a stiff breeze, I was quite content at half time in relation to getting off and what we spoke about at half time. We spoke very quickly about the first half, but it was more about the first 5 or 10 minutes of the second half, making sure that we got on top and pinned them in and really had to go with the breeze and ideally as well to get shots away because the surface was wet with the downpour beforehand and the breeze was quite strong, and just to make sure that we had a real go at it. And just so frustrating in relation to it was nearly like that up here the last day was at the start of the season where it was 2 minutes of madness or 3 minutes of madness, and today was exactly the same. And it's so unlike us in relation to what we also spoke about at half time was keeping the pitch small in relation to making sure that we didn't leave spaces. And the first goal that they create or score, and people can say what they want about Gareth and I'll defend him to the hilt, it's an error of judgment from him on the final aspect of it. How the ball reaches that area with zero pressure in any way, shape or form is beyond me, and probably the most frustrating thing of it. And it's just really, really hard. It then sets us, and I suppose, a bit of throws a bit of a grenade, and they get the second goal, and then you're then forced into things against a team who are very strong at home of trying to flip a formation and throw strikers on, whatever else, to try and grab something out of the game. It then turns into a game of basketball, and how it remains probably 2-0 at that point. And we had a post, but beyond that, I don't think we had a lot of balls in there. But to be fair to Clifton, they defend it well from that point of view.
Were you disappointed just the lack of creativity, perhaps, in that second half?
It's hard because it's very, very hard to judge once the goals go in, and once it becomes helter-skelter. It became like we were man for man at the back. We'd lobbed a lot of bodies forward. It was very much off the cuff in relation to what you're trying to create and everything else. So it's hard to be sore on people from that point of view. It's more just a naivety, and we spoke about it strongly at half time about keeping the pitch tight and making sure there was no spaces. And for their first goal, which is a vital goal, it's just it's crazy at that point in time, and it makes life really hard for us.
People, I know there's 3 weeks between this match and the next one, but when teams play each other in a short space of time, after the first game, people often talk about a psychological advantage. But are you, albeit it's 3 weeks away, looking to swing that the other way? If you just lost to your team, your motivation's there straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, it's everybody else's job to talk about the 3 games and everything else that comes with it. For us today, we'd been on a little run of good form that had put us within touching distance of the teams above us, and the key thing we want to do is try and reel those teams in. And today, solely, I wasn't going into it thinking, God, if we win today, it could have a huge impact on us on 3 weeks' time or whenever it may be. You just want 3 points, and you just want to try and take care of that business first. We'll go with whatever we need to go with in relation to 2 or 3 weeks' time, but still, like, we have a pile of midweek games, we have a pile of football, important football to play between now and then.
And you're about to play at Warren Point next?
Warren Point on Tuesday night, and then Saturday.
Yeah, and they're just coming off the back of probably the biggest high of the season. I think it was 4-2 they won today, which is quite unlikely. So you're going up against a team that's in the tails up for a change.
Yeah, and we've played them a few times this season, and it's never, I keep saying that to people, we've never had an easy game against them. And also I think when you play back to back like that as well, it makes it tough as well in relation to, I think we're at home on the Tuesday and then away on the Saturday. So any 3 points in this league are very, very hard to come by, and you've got to be at your best. And for us, it's just that we just can't afford for that lull, and at this level it's simple, you get punished. The couple of errors that we made for the first goal were just inexcusable, and it leads to that opportunity, and it sets us off on our own foot.
And like Jimmy McDonough, I think he sort of was instrumental in the first goal, and you did seem to have problems with him for a lot of the day, because he did seem to find himself in some good positions.
But it's when you so to nullify that, it's about, and that's what we're speaking about. It's the ability to leave as little space as possible on the pitch. And when you watch the goal back, I think Addis had it 20 or 30 yards into his own half. To me, we're just far too deep at that point in time, and there's a massive space between our defenders and our midfielders. Jamie's in the middle of it. It was about a 20 by 20 square around him, and it's just schoolboy stuff, to be honest with you. So when you give people like that time, he then can play a ball wide. There's no pressure then on the cross, and it's just a comedy of errors.
Gareth Dean probably.
No, that's the one person.
You know, he
the
kept
one person I won't
into it.
entertain, and I won't entertain any type of negativity towards and all that goes with it, because we had umpteen errors made in the pitch today that will go unnoticed, and people will put a hand up for, and people will be quick to hide behind and everything else. When Gareth makes a mistake, it generally leads to a goal. In 50 or 60 appearances for our club, I couldn't even count one. I don't even need a hand in relation to counting goals that he's been at fault for or whatever else. He's a big character, and I'll not even have to speak. I won't speak to him about it, and there'll be no comment in relation to that, because I don't need to speak to him about
Kept
it.
you in the game
And he's top notch. So no, for him, he's the only one that will come out without any issues from that point of view.